A woman in Virginia says she thought her leg was going to fall off after she contracted flesh-eating bacteria. This was during a beach trip. Listen.
I was like, it's really hot, let's go outside. So we went outside to the beach, and I was only in the water for maybe like 10 minutes. I did not feel good. I noticed this thing that came on my leg, and I ignored it for a couple of days, and then it just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where I couldn't walk anymore.
She was treated with antibiotics and says she later learned there had been a swimming advisory at the beach that she was in with high levels of bacteria. Her case actually is one of many being reported this summer. Just in the past month, at least 3 people along Florida's Gulf Coast have reportedly contracted this flesh-eating bacteria. There have also been cases reported in New York, Alabama, Maryland, and Texas. Is this out of the norm? Here to talk about it, infectious disease specialist, Dr. Amesh Adalja. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me, doctor. Let's start with this. How do you get this? Do you only have to have like a cut somewhere in your body?
Many of these cases of flesh-eating bacteria start with a minor cut, a scrape, an abrasion, which the bacteria that lives naturally in the water can find their way in. And it's not just one type of bacteria. There are several different types of bacteria that are capable of causing these types of infections. But one of the ones you're hearing a lot about on the Gulf Coast is called Vibrio vulnificus, and that can be very devastating if it enters a cut. And you can also get that from eating oysters as well.
Why is it there in these beaches? I mean, these people aren't swimming in swamps. As you point out, these are popular tourist beaches. Is it common, or has something changed?
It is very common. So, for example, Vibrio vulnificus, this bacteria naturally lives there. And you have to remember that the ocean isn't sterile. It really teems with bacteria, viruses, lots of things, which for the most part don't pose any harm. But in certain individuals, those who have cuts and abrasions, as well as those with other underlying diseases, especially liver disease, you can get a very severe infection. And it's always a risk. And it tends to not be as common as people think. You see lots of headlines about it during the summer months, but it isn't something that every nick on your skin is going to result in. It is something that is extremely rare, and that's kind of why it gets a lot of headlines, but it's important to know.
It's also scary because 1 in 5 die from this flesh-eating bacteria. There are 80,000 cases every year. Is there anything that can be done? We know at least in one case there had been an advisory that was put out, but this woman didn't even know about it.
So you can put advisories out when there are high levels of bacteria in a swimming area, as well as advise people who have liver disease, for example, or any other immunocompromising condition to really be wary. And then the other thing to do is, if you do have a cut or an abrasion and it looks like it's starting to get infected, it starts to hurt, it's getting swollen, it's getting red, that you immediately seek medical attention, because time is really of the essence when you're dealing with these types of infections.
Dr. Adalja, thank you so much. Some great advice. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.